In football, legends come and go. Some dazzle for a season, others reign for a decade. But once in a generation, a player appears who doesn't just dominate the game, he changes it. He was fast, yes. He was powerful, yes. But that wasn't what made him different. He played like a child who never lost his joy and struck like a force of nature. This is the story of a boy from Brazil who grew up with nothing and became everything. He wasn't just a striker. He wasn't just a world champion. He was the phenomenon. Bento Ribeiro, a working-class neighborhood on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro. Dusty streets, concrete walls, football goals drawn with chalk. This is where the story begins. In a modest home, born on September 18, 1976, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima entered a world of struggle. His parents Nelio and Sonia did what they could, but life was tough. By the time he was 11, his parents separated, and Ronaldo dropped out of school. Not because he didn't dream of learning, but because his family couldn't afford the bus fare. Yet where most kids saw dead ends, Ronaldo saw goals. The streets were his pitch, the ball his escape. He played everywhere, on sidewalks, in alleys, barefoot, rain or shine. Sometimes with a proper football, sometimes with a plastic bottle. But even then, there was something special. Other kids played to have fun. Ronaldo played like he knew this was his path. By age 12, he joined a local futsal team. In tight indoor courts, with the ball moving fast, his skills sharpened like a blade. In one season, he scored 166 goals. 166. The coach said defenders would give up mid-match. How do you stop a boy who moves like light? Scouts from Cruzeiro, one of Brazil's top clubs, came to see if the legend was real. He was 16, skinny, quiet, smiling. He scored 5 goals that day. I didn't need a second match. We signed him on the spot. At Cruzeiro, he exploded, 44 goals in 47 matches. He made grown men look like statues. Quick turn, explosive sprint, a feint, a toe poke, goal. He wasn't just scoring, he was hypnotizing. Fans came in flocks just to see him move. Commentators ran out of adjectives. By 17, he had the world's attention. And just like that, the boy from Bento Ribeiro was called up to represent Brazil in the 1994 World Cup squad. He never played a single minute, but he came home with a winner's medal and something more powerful: hunger. The world had seen a glimpse, but Ronaldo hadn't even started yet. In 1994, after the World Cup, Ronaldo received his first European call, not to Spain, not to England, but to the Netherlands' PSV Eindhoven, a club that had once nurtured another Brazilian great, Romario. He was 17. He spoke no Dutch, barely any English, but he had a ball and that was all he needed. The defenders in the Dutch league had never seen anything like him. 54 goals in 57 games, but that's just the number. The truth was in how he did it. Ronaldo, from nothing, oh my word, what a goal. That's not fair. It wasn't fair. He moved like a panther, coiled energy, silent fury. He dribbled with the balance of a dancer and the timing of a hitman. One look, one shimmy, one touch, and the net rippled. Crowds came early just to watch him warm up. They chanted his name before he even touched the ball. His reputation grew. Scouts from all the major clubs came knocking. And in 1996, he took the next step, the step every South American boy dreams of. He signed for FC Barcelona. In Catalonia, Ronaldo arrived as a prodigy. He left as a phenomenon. Just 19 years old, he terrorized La Liga. Strength, precision, instinct, all rolled into one devastating package. 47 goals, 49 matches, in one season. And not just tap-ins. We're talking 50-yard sprints, leaving defenders crawling in his wake. One-on-one with the keeper, time slowed down. Then came the flick, the roll, the goal. In the 1996-97 UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, he danced through entire teams like a street magician.
Goal de Ronaldo! That's impossible!
He won the FIFA World Player of the Year that season, at just 20. No one in history had done it so young. His Barcelona teammates looked at him like he wasn't human. Coaches ran out of instructions. "You don't coach that," they'd say. "You just witness it." Off the field, Ronaldo's face was on every billboard in Europe. Boot deals, soft drinks, video games. He was football's first global commercial star of his generation. But behind the smiles, a storm brewed. Barcelona's management, impatient with contract negotiations, let him go. Yes, let him go. And in 1997, Inter Milan broke the transfer record to bring him to Italy. The Spanish dream was over, but in Italy, a new legend would be forged, one lined with both glory and tragedy. In the summer of 1997, Inter Milan broke the world transfer record to sign Ronaldo. 26.5 million euros. It wasn't just a signing, it was a statement. Serie A, the toughest, most tactical league in the world, was about to witness a storm, and that storm wore number 10. In Italy, defenders were masters of the dark arts, grabbing, tripping, tackling from behind. But Ronaldo made them look like amateurs. In his first season, he scored 34 goals, including one in the UEFA Cup final against Lazio. Arguably one of the most iconic of his career. A sudden burst through the defense. The keeper charges out. Ronaldo performs a body feint so smooth, so deceptive, the keeper dives the wrong way. Ronaldo calmly rolls the ball into an empty net. It wasn't just football, it was sorcery. And all of Italy, yes, even rival fans, stood to applaud. He lifted the UEFA Cup that night, and later that year he lifted a second FIFA World Player of the Year award. At 21, he was unstoppable. But even stars cast shadows. By late 1999, Ronaldo started to feel something wrong. Pain in his right knee, swelling, discomfort. Doctors found a ruptured tendon in his kneecap. He went under the knife. Months of recovery followed. The world held its breath. Could he come back? April 12, 2000, Ronaldo returns to the pitch after 6 months. San Siro is electric. Fans hold banners. Tornado Fenomeno. Welcome back, phenomenon. He comes on. First touch, clean. Second touch, confident. 6 minutes in, he makes a turn, and then it happens. Gasps, silence. He collapses. No contact, just screams. His kneecap had shattered. Complete rupture of the patellar tendon. His career was now in jeopardy. The image of Ronaldo clutching his face, crying in agony, became one of the most haunting images in football history. Doctors said he may never play again. Fans wept, teammates prayed. And Ronaldo? Ronaldo stayed silent. He disappeared from the spotlight. Rehab, isolation, endless physiotherapy. Months became a year, then 2. But deep inside, something refused to give up. He had been given gifts few would ever know, and he wasn't ready to say goodbye. Not yet. The year was 2002. For most, Ronaldo was a name from the past, a cautionary tale, a talent undone by his own body. He had played just 17 matches in the last 2 years. He limped through games, he trained in pain. Many said he was finished. But Luis Felipe Scolari, Brazil's national coach, believed. So did Ronaldo. And so when the squad was announced for the World Cup in South Korea and Japan, there it was. His name, Ronaldo. He showed up with a buzz cut, an uneven triangle of hair at the front, a distraction, he would later say, to draw attention away from his body. But the world couldn't look away. Can he do it? Can Ronaldo rise again? Group stage, Brazil versus Turkey, Ronaldo scores. Then against China, then Costa Rica, one goal, then another. By the quarterfinals, he had 5. He wasn't the same explosive teenager from '98. He was slower, thicker, more measured, but the killer instinct, still razor sharp. In the semifinal against Turkey again, a moment of genius. A toe poke finish, awkward yet perfect. Brazil into the final. Germany awaited. A nation built on defensive excellence. Oliver Kahn, the world's best goalkeeper. June 30th, 2002, Yokohama, the whole world watching. Would this be the final flourish or a final failure? First half, tense, no goals, nervous energy in the air. Then, in the 67th minute, Rivaldo shoots, Kahn spills. Ronaldo pounces. Goal! Arms out, eyes skyward. Relief, joy, redemption, all in one scream. 12 minutes later, a flick from Rivaldo, another inch-perfect finish. 2-0, Brazil wins, and Ronaldo, he's back on top. 8 goals in 7 games. Golden Boot, FIFA World Cup champion, FIFA World Player of the Year, again. From wheelchairs to wonder goals, from the surgeon's table to lifting the most coveted trophy in football. He didn't just return, he resurrected. It was one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. And for a generation of fans, it wasn't just about football. It was about fighting, about refusing to let pain write your ending, about rising no matter how many times you fall. They said I wouldn't play again, but God saved me. He gave me a second chance, and I took it. The world had just witnessed Ronaldo's resurrection in Yokohama, and across the Atlantic, in the heart of Spain, Florentino Perez had a vision, a team of superstars, the biggest names in football, not just to win matches, but to build an empire. They were called Los Galacticos: Zidane, Figo, Beckham, Roberto Carlos, and now Ronaldo. He arrived in Madrid to a hero's welcome. 80,000 fans filled the Santiago Bernabeu for his unveiling. Cameras flashed, flags waved. This wasn't just a signing, it was a spectacle. Es el fenómeno, Ronaldo está aquí. And on the pitch, he delivered. His debut, 2 goals his first season, 23 La Liga goals. Explosive runs, no-look finishes. The toe poke still lethal. Even though his pace had faded slightly, his intelligence had sharpened. He read the game like a master. His timing, clinical. His finishes, ruthless. 2003, Ronaldo returned to Old Trafford for a Champions League showdown. Manchester United, quarterfinal. In one of the most unforgettable performances of his career, he scored a hat-trick. And when he was subbed off, the entire stadium, United fans included, stood to applaud. Yes, an opposing player, given a standing ovation at Old Trafford. Because greatness recognizes greatness. He helped Real Madrid win La Liga in 2003. He was the club's top scorer for 4 consecutive seasons. He reached 100 goals faster than almost anyone in club history. And off the pitch, he was a marketing juggernaut. Boots, drinks, video games. For millions, Ronaldo wasn't just a player, he was the face of football. But even Galacticos are mortal. Injuries returned, his knees stiffened, his explosiveness dulled, the weight crept in, and the whispers began again. Real Madrid, ever hungry for new stars, looked to the future. In 2007, after injuries and a falling out with manager Fabio Capello, Ronaldo left the Bernabeu. He had scored 104 goals in 177 games, and he left as one of the club's most beloved forwards. The Ronaldo who left Madrid was not the boy from Barcelona, but he was something greater, a warrior who had given everything to the game. By 2007, the once unstoppable force was slowing. Ronaldo's body, the very machine that had dazzled the world, was breaking down. He joined AC Milan in January of that year. The city had seen greatness before: Van Basten, Baggio, Shevchenko. But Ronaldo was different, and when fit, he still delivered. On his debut, he scored. The magic flickered, not always, not consistently, but enough to remind the world, I'm still here. But it didn't last. In February 2008, in a match against Livorno, Ronaldo leapt for a cross and crumpled. No one touched him. The same knee, another devastating injury. This time, a complete rupture of the left patellar tendon. The pain was physical, but also existential. How many times can a man break before he stays broken? Doctors warned, this could be the end. But Ronaldo wasn't done yet. In 2009, he returned to Brazil. He signed with Corinthians. It wasn't Europe, it wasn't the Bernabeu, but it was home. He trained hard, he shed weight, and he scored. He led Corinthians to win the Copa do Brasil and the Sao Paulo State Championship. He gave the fans what they wanted, flashes of the old Ronaldo. One last ride. But behind the scenes, something wasn't right. He was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, a condition that made it hard to control his weight. He was tired, constantly injured, mentally exhausted. And so in February 2011, at 34 years old, Ronaldo called time on his career. I gave my body to football. My mind wants to continue, but my body can't take it anymore. It's time to say goodbye. Tears filled his eyes. Reporters stood, applauded. A nation, no, a world, mourned the farewell of a king. Ronaldo retired with over 400 career goals, 2 Ballon d'Ors, 2 World Cups, an Olympic medal, and hearts won across every continent. But more than trophies, he left behind a feeling that when he touched the ball, anything was possible. When Ronaldo stepped away from football, the world wondered, what now? How does a man who once conquered the world start over? For some, retirement is retreat. But for Ronaldo, it was reinvention. First, he went quiet, reconnecting with his children, his family, his roots. He lived, he laughed, he healed. But then, the passion returned. Not to play, to build. Ronaldo, the entrepreneur, was born. He invested, he advised. He became an ambassador for the United Nations, promoting development through sport. He helped shape the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, his country's showcase to the world. And in 2018, he did something few legends dare. He bought a football club, Real Valladolid in Spain, a team on the edge of relegation, and he brought them back to life. He didn't sit in the luxury box. He sat with the fans. He walked the locker rooms. He inspired the players. I know what it means to be overlooked, to be doubted. I want this club to believe again. And then in 2021, a full circle moment. He bought Cruzeiro, the club where it all began. A gesture not just of nostalgia, but responsibility. He wasn't just investing in football, he was investing in the future. Youth academies, facilities, community programs. He knew the next Ronaldo might be playing barefoot on a Rio sidewalk right now, just like he once did. And off the field, his voice grew louder. He spoke openly about depression, about mental health in sport, about pressure, about pain. In a game that worships toughness, Ronaldo showed courage of another kind, honesty. He reminded the world that heroes are human too. He could have disappeared, he could have faded into memory, but he chose to stay, to guide, to give back. Not because he had to, but because he understood. He had lived both the dream and the cost. In the long and glorious history of football, there have been many greats: Pele, Maradona, Cruyff, Zidane, Messi, Cristiano. Icons, each with their own style, their own era, but only one was the phenomenon. Ronaldo wasn't just a striker, he was a revolution. Before him, strikers either had power or finesse, speed or intelligence. He had it all. He could dribble like a winger, hold off defenders like a tank, finish with the cold precision of a sniper, and do it all with a smile, with joy, with freedom. Ask those who played with him. Ask those who played against him. Zidane, Maldini, Henry, they'll all say the same thing. There was before Ronaldo, and there was after Ronaldo. He inspired a generation, not just to play, but to believe. To believe that greatness wasn't about being perfect, but about rising every time life knocks you down. He fell, more than once, hard, but each time he stood back up. Maybe slower, maybe scarred, but still Ronaldo. He didn't need 5 Champions League titles. He didn't need a decade of domination, because in his moments, he lit up the world. The 2002 World Cup, the Barcelona Blitz, the Inter Milan miracle, the Bernabeu hat trick. Each was a chapter in a story, not of perfection, but of resilience. Today, when you hear young stars talk about their idols, when you see step-overs on playgrounds or toe pokes in Sunday leagues, you see echoes of Ronaldo, not just the player, the phenomenon. He came from nothing, he gave everything, and he left behind something few ever do. A legacy etched not in numbers, but in hearts. The smile, the sprint, the roar of the crowd, that's what made him Ronaldo. And no matter how the game evolves, no matter who comes next, there will only ever be one. O Fenomeno. Fade out.